Good evening, Super Metroid fans. That's right. We've got Speed Gaming Live 2023 Super Metroid 100% item collection coming your way right here on the flagship station, Speed Gaming. My name is the Hockey Towner. I'm joined by the one, the only, the death-defying, the incredibly skilled and talented Oats and Goats. What is up, Oats?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Wow. Not much. I'm just excited to watch this very exciting match. I'm sure it's going to be a good one.
There's no question about it. I think our runners, I should say, we have heard of these runners. Our chat has heard of these runners. ShinyZeni versus Zoast, the overall #1 seed versus the #4 seed. Unbelievable matchup here in the winner's semis, Oats.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how this pans out. Of course, Zeni has been on quite a tear. It seems like 100% has kind of been his category for a little bit now, but Zoast has been making very good, we'll say, de-rust improvements recently, it seems. So it'll hopefully be a very exciting one, I'm sure.
No question about it. It's so fascinating to me that even after all this time, even after all the optimization within the vanilla Super Metroid categories, we're still seeing things being discovered. The major one, of course, is Two Cries, as Zeni likes to call it, but we'll get to that much, much later near the end of the run. Right now, our runners are starting on Series Station. A tough section to optimize, wouldn't you say, Oats?
Yeah, luckily we see it the most, so just by nature, we will be better at optimizing these earlier sections. You're never going to hear a runner say they practice bombs section, or a much better runner say that anyways, but we'll see how we start off here. I think Zeni has one of the faster bombs times. His early games are pretty refined at this point. And then one really interesting thing about Zoast's play, he's always all around consistent and very clean. So I think overall we should see some shifting, and we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. I know that people have been waiting for this race with bated breath as soon as it hit the schedule. Our runners are going to do their best to get off a Series Station, avoid those magnet stairs, and try not to get slowed down too much by steam. See what happens in the tile room, whether they're able to damage boost off of that tile. But let's see what's in store for them here. Ooh.
Both fairly good times so far. Oh, little misstep from Zeni. Basically, Series Station time is kind of just an ego thing, really. If you get maybe a 44, you'd reset in an actual run, but anything 45 and above in a race is just fine. These are just little nitpicky things that aren't really going to determine anything whatsoever. So.
For sure, Oats, for sure. You know, it's funny, just coincidentally, they were almost exactly a second apart there on the Series Station exit, but Zeni, with his strong early game, is certainly going to be able to clean up that second.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So like a lot of vanilla categories, our runners are going to be heading down to the surface of Zebus, so pretty much up to around Charge Beam. This is going to look very, very familiar. And of course, lest us not forget, Oats, 100 item fanfares, 100 items that they do have to pick up in order for this to be a valid 100% item completion.
Yeah, I can't imagine any of them, Zoast or Zeni, will be forgetting any of the items, but weirder things have happened, certainly. But yeah, I think we're going to see 100%, 200 collectively, so we won't worry about that.
No worries from the commentator team. That means no worries from you either, chat. I'm shaking my finger at you as our runners do head down into Retro Brinstar after using that Moonfall, uncapping Samus's fall speed through the reverse climb. And also, I believe Zeni got pitless through Old Mother Brain, heading to Retro Brin. We'll see if Zoast can get that on the way out. But first item pickup here, a Vital One Morphing Ball, allows them to go through one tile gaps and utilize those Morph Ball bombs that they are quick to pick up soon.
Yep, you're probably going to see Zeni gain a little bit of time here, even if they're even. Well, it looks like they're pretty even now, but Zeni does opt to go for some frame-saving strats. That's why I said his early games can sometimes be pretty top tier. if he does nail those frame savers. And like I said, Zoast is all around consistent, just trying to get from point A to point B at still, you know, pretty hot speed. So.
Yeah, no question. These are as good of two runners as you're going to see in a race, and you saw that sink all the way through back out of construction zone. So Zeni with a very, very tenuous lead here, heading back into Old Mother Brain. Now, I believe I'm not. I have to admit, Chad, I'm not super current on kind of Zoast routing for 100%. I know he used to do something a little bit peculiar, which was to get like an early power bombs and avoid the double dip into Kraid. Chat will have to help me out, Oates. I'm not sure if Zoast still does that.
As far as I know, he does. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, he is still doing that unless he decided to change. I can't imagine he would. So we will see a deviation. Oh, Zeni taking a little bit of a hit. That will make his Bomb Chorizo fight probably unfavorable, but we'll see. But as I was saying, Zoast does take a deviation up Red Tower like you would in any percent, with the exception of having reserve in this and a couple more items. And Zeni will be going down to Kraid in Red Tower instead of up, and then Zoast will be going to Kraid immediately after. So they will converge later on, going back down into Upper Norfair, but we will let you know when that is going to happen.
Absolutely. Right now, they got to clean up this Bomb Chorizo fight. They picked up the Morph Ball bombs. Not bad drops for Zeni, just not quite as good as Zoast. So another little round here for Zeni. Both runners avoiding the decapitation animation very nicely, but Zoast with as perfect a BT fight as you're going to see, going to be heading up, making that Alcatraz escape on their way to Terminator. But got a lot of items ahead of us to collect. And it seems like, you know, to the casual viewer that they're leaving some of them behind, Oates. You know, but of course, the old speedrunner adage, it's always faster. Or why do you do things in a certain order? Because it's faster, I should say.
Exactly. That's the easy way to say it, because it's faster. Essentially, any item that you see the runner skip, most notably, you're going to see them skip charge missiles. That is because it is just frames faster to get later on with a power bomb. So it's just little detail stuff like that. Don't worry, all the items will be collected, because they have to come back through these areas regardless, because they don't have the items necessary to collect everything quite yet.
For sure. Interesting difference of strategy there. Zeni opting to damage boost through those pirates. Zoast destroying some of them. So Zoast does have to farm up to get those 5 missiles to get these early supers. Absolutely brilliant, though. Gets the 2 missile drops he needed. Zeni, though, delivering those missiles right to the wall. Early supers mock ball is a quintessential Super Metroid speedrun trick, and both these runners just executed it perfectly.
Yeah, it's pretty much the first trick that you have to know, unless you want to fight Spore Spawn, of course, which is totally fine. But it's pretty much the first speedrun trick that you will be learning. The necessary one, anyways.
And you'd love to see that damage boost, just those little optimizations, not even room strats, but sub-room strats as they head back here to grab the Brinstar Reserve and a pair of missile packs. Still a few more items to pick up, though. But now they have their super missiles and their regular missiles. As soon as they get their power bombs, I mean, Zebus is their oysters. Oates, they can go pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, so this is one of the first harder tricks. Let's see if Zoast gets it. It's a pretty tight mock ball. Oh, he nails it. Perfect. Let's see if Zeni can get it. Very nice. Yeah, it's not too bad, but if you're nervous at all or shaking at all or anything, that can definitely go wrong. You do lose a little bit of time if you miss it. However, both runners got it. One thing you're going to notice as well is, I noticed Zeni not doing it, but there have been some improvements on how they fight Ridley and how they conserve super missiles. Generally, I've seen some runners doing missiles on that first missile door instead of the super, which is traditional. Zeni opted to do the super. Zoast did the missiles. So we'll see how that pans out, if they have enough supers to fight Ridley in the best way possible. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the charge missile skip. It is slightly faster to grab those later with a power bomb, because you need to go to Waterway, which is right below the Chozo statue there with power bombs.
That's right. That's right. So, like you said, Oates, they're skipping that charged missile for now. It is faster to pick it up later. Going into Green Hill Zone, I feel like this is a deceptively tricky room. But both runners really showing off their movement here. Really nice D boost there. Opening the. It's like a no-look shot. It's a fadeaway shot to open that blue gate. Fantastic stuff. And, of course, remembering to hold run across New Bridge. Who wouldn't? But yeah, this is like you said, Oates. This is the major divergence here. Zoast going with a bit of an unorthodox strategy, going to grab those power bombs early.
Yeah, so it pans out to be about the same, if not slightly slower. However, it really comes down to runner comfort. I know Zoast feels pretty comfortable doing power bombs first and going up red tower. So for him and the strats that you'll see him implement, I think he just is more comfortable doing the power bombs first.
For sure, because they will be heading back through that way on the way to the wrecked ship. So just the alpha PBs here, not the beta PBs above on the way to the elevator.
He'll be grabbing those later.
So Zeni will be the first one to get to Kraid's Lair. Again, just to let chat know, if you're unfamiliar, I know we got a lot of veteran Super Metroid runners in chat tonight, but Zeni does not have a sizable lead on Zoast. It is simply a difference of routing at early here in this 100%.
I'd still say, yeah, Zoast is probably still slightly ahead by about a second, I'd say, a second or two. So they will diverge later on, and we'll definitely let you know at when they will be diverging.
Absolutely. So Kraid, not much to it, but I'm not trying to commentate or curse anybody, but very rare to see a botched Kraid quick kill. Zeni will be going with the missile opener here. Got to land 2 missiles and then 3 supers. So perfect ammo. Spazer pickup for Zoast though. Gotta have it. Gotta get them all. Gotta get all the items. That includes Spazer.
Yeah, Spazer is actually very convenient to have early on as well. It does allow you to just nail a lot of pretty tough shots, and you're killing enemies much quicker. Basically, just one-shotting a lot of the Sovas and Norfair.
For sure. An underrated and unsung hero of a beam in this game, only to be fully supplanted by Plasma later on. But we're pretty far away from getting that beam for a while. But really nice Kraid quick kill there from Zeni. So a little bit of a high five here at the.
So you're gonna see. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
You're going to see Zoast losing, quote unquote, losing more time here to Zeni, or so it will appear, because he is collecting these missiles now, to where Zeni will have to come back when he has power bombs later on to collect those missiles that you saw Zoast just get. Power bombs are required for those, so that's one of the major advantages, is only going into Kraid's Lair once. And that's kind of what makes this a little bit more viable, alongside a lot of time-saving and frame-saving strats that power bombs allow you to do.
No question about it. It was a head-scratcher for me as a casual, but if it works for Zoast, you can't argue with it. It's one of the greatest of all time to pick up a SNES controller and play this amazing game. And again, really to be expected from runners of this caliber. Very nice Kraid quick kill. Zeni, though, having taken that more traditional route, is the first to business center down here in Upper Norfair. Going to be doing the first Norfair dip. Going to be doing a big old cleanup.
And I'd say both runners are playing relatively the same. A couple hiccups here and there, which is expected in a race setting, especially with the winner's final on the line here coming up after this one. But overall, both runners are playing extremely well up to this point.
No question about it. It's their movement, although, like you said, with the minor hiccups here and there, ultimately very, very sharp. And a long way to go. We're just under 12, or I should say 13 minutes. We got a lot more to do, but there's a lot of variation in the route, not just the early power bombs versus late power bombs. You got early croc, you got late croc, you got early ice, you got late ice. So, but both these runners will be running the most optimal, the fastest possible route with their own kind of spin on it.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I think the early croc is faster if you get the absolute perfect RNG. aka no croc swipes, which is extremely unlikely. You're almost never going to see that. So to stay consistent, runners will just do croc later on, and regardless, both routes still do the ice clip, I believe. So
for sure, setting up for that ice clip. Although grabbing that grapple might be a bit more consistent for some runners, but the fastest thing to do is that ice clip strategy. But that was as good a rising tide from Zeni as you'll ever see, Chad. Like, that was absolutely perfect movement. And I feel like it's like once you pick up the speed booster as Zeni's about to do, like, this is what really opens up the entire kind of arsenal of Samus's movement through space.
Yeah, once you get high jump and speed booster, the movement becomes pretty difficult in a lot of areas, and that differs from some categories to where essentially the majority of the 100% category is dominated by high jump, speed booster, movement and tech, and just optimizations, which is much more difficult. So we're going to see some pretty tough strats with that, and a lot tougher precision, like I said, than some categories.
That was an interesting little kind of stutter step there from Zoast. They're backing up to deliver that super to the door into Rising Tide. Zeni, though, into Double Chamber, a deceptively difficult room on the way to picking up that Wave Beam. Another advantage of Zoast having those early PBs, you saw him drop one at the end of Rising Tide, is the lag reduction that they afford in certain situations.
Yep, and little things like that is kind of what makes this get as close to Zeni's route as possible. And like I said, Zoast is just comfortable with it, so this is what he decides to do. We'll probably see him lay another power bomb and speed booster. And yeah, just little optimizations like that is what makes the difference.
That's absolutely incredible that it could come down to whether you win or lose the race, or if you successfully get a new PB or world record. Like, it can come down to those tiny time saves by saving frames. And it's like, especially a category like Hundo Oats, it's like, I've heard it described as death by 1,000 cuts. Like, it's such a long category compared to other vanilla Super Metroid categories.
I've never heard that, but
never. Oh,
never. Yeah. Not to describe 100%. That is, Zoast did not do the power bomb in speed booster, but yeah, I'm sure he's still going to be laying some power bombs to get through some of these rooms, which we will see him use power bombs in Bubble Mountain to escape, which is slightly faster than how Zeni escaped the room.
Speaking of Zeni, that ice entrance was oh so fresh, oh so clean. Just really, Zeni is really playing with a lot of confidence in this tournament, but especially in this race.
Yeah, Zeni's really picking it up right now. He's starting to, I feel like, get into his groove, and he's starting to nail a lot of things right now. So this is kind of where his consistency with this category will definitely shine. He's definitely been grinding this one a lot.
No question about it. And just a picture perfect ice exit there right under the gate. Zoast, though, cleaning up Double Chamber, no problems whatsoever. And it's always such a privilege to be on this stage and see these runners. But when you talk about kind of the psychological aspect, it's like, do you feel like, especially in the competitions that you've had, like it takes a little bit to kind of settle into the run?
Yeah, it does. You just kind of have nerves, and then you, like you said, you settle into it, and then sometimes making a couple mistakes takes the edge off a little bit, and you are your worst enemy, not the person that you're racing. Of course, we're all friends, but you know what I mean. So yeah, you can just get in your head about it, and it can make a pretty rocky start to some of the races.
No, for sure. But both these runners not getting lost in the moment. They are playing out of their minds. We saw Zeni with that perfect Alpha Spark across the bottom of Brinstar here on his way through the Hellway to grab those Alpha PBs that Zoast already has. So, like you said, it's going to be a long time before we have Convergence, but Ice Beam pickup for Zoast. We'll see what kind of exit he has.
Yep. And pretty much now at this point, it is just Zoast collecting time, because now Zeni is... Ooh, Zoast slightly messing up the escape here. He should have enough speed to get under the gates. Yeah, that's good. That's a pretty tight mock ball, but he did back it up properly. But yeah, so Zoast is now gaining some time back, and then we'll see some more time back with the Kraid re-entrance from Zeni.
That was one heck of a backup there. Had a little bit of a hesitation there. Didn't quite get. I always forget what those enemies are called, but didn't get the frozen platform in the right place. But to do a backup from that distance is unbelievable.
Zeni kind of having some hiccups here, and I'm trying to. No, he should be fine. Health isn't too much of an issue, unless it's really low. But health is more of an issue after Fantoon, because there are some very scary spike platforms that deal significant amounts of damage. But both runners should be fine. They're well experienced, and they know strats to avoid taking damage.
No question. So yeah, quick short charge there from Zeni. Going to be going for this ocean fly technique with a charge shot, charge ice wave spazer. Seen it done with a super, but I think is it harder with a charge shot? Ooh, speaking of.
Very nice. Yeah, I think it's a little bit easier with the super missile. However, you want to try to save your super missiles at this point.
Yeah, ammo management is, in my limited experience as Super Metroid speedrunner, something I never learned, but certainly absolutely your ticket to ride at this level of play and this level of competition. And yeah, both our runners going into wrecked ship with full ammo, at least for supers. Good to see. And we're about to have our next G4 boss, one of the main bosses of Super Metroid, Fantoon, the RNG monster. We'll see what kind of patterns Fantoon has in store for Zeni, and Zoast right behind him.
Oh, nice ocean fly from Zoast.
Oh, that's brilliant. Really nice speedball, too, from Zeni entering Fantoon's lair. I know that for those of you who have seen Zeni's stream, he keeps a counter for the number of one-round Fantoons he's had.
Yeah, he's very good at the one round, so we'll see if he will most definitely attempt one. So we'll see if he can get it.
That is absolutely correct. I love it.
So it's going to be a slow for Zeni. Let's see how he does with this attempt. Unfortunately, that's the worst way to mess up the one-round attempt. And he gets a rare fast and takes Fantoon off screen. That rare fast is only a 0.3, I want to say, a 0.2 or 0.3% chance. Most runners don't see any. And then he gets and another slightly rare pattern, not quite as rare as the right fast, but it is more likely to get the right mid there. So he got a rare right fast and then a kind of unfavorable right slow. But he did finish off the fight with a very nice Doppler at the end.
A nice finish. You can tell though, Oates, he's very unhappy with the 3-round on Fantoon. There are a couple telling shakes of the head and glances off camera there. We'll see how Zoast does. Good opening pattern though.
Okay, we get a fast here. Zoast did kind of have a misstep. Yeah, on his first pattern, so he's going to need to see one more here. This should be a right mid, unless he gets the Zeni luck here. We'll see. Okay.
You've been looking in the crystal ball there, Oates.
Yeah. He went for a pretty risky on-screen shot there, which definitely cost him some time. Instead of just taking the 1 second loss to have Fantoon go off to the left to finish, he did try to keep it on to the right, but didn't work out for him. The fight ended without him perishing, though, so that's good.
For sure. I think he was able to get either a fast or a mid there to finish up in 4 rounds. So not the most ideal of circumstances here for our runners at Fantoon, but both of them survived the fight and get to put Fantoon in the rearview mirrors. They're going to continue cleaning out this wreck ship.
It's like Zeni is trying to go for the ball strat. He gets it. He does the halfway strat there, which is still very, very good, much faster than the safer strat. This is what I was saying. If you have the health to do so, you can go for riskier strats. And those spikes do an entire E-tank of damage. One thing here, a big... Okay, nice. If you fall there, it's a significant time loss. So you have to get a proper bomb jump to the left, or you can do an extremely, extremely tight midair morph. But most runners, for consistency, will opt to do what Zeni just did.
Yeah, that was really, really nice movement there from Zeni, and of course a timely energy refill from that E-Tank. So we'll see what kind of strategies Zoast uses as he goes to the wreck ship E-Tank, but meanwhile Zeni's going to be heading up to the attic, and that's when we really start to see some moves is in the attic.
Yep, so if you're watching Zoast, this is kind of the more traditional strat. It's much safer and still fairly fast. It doesn't deal nearly as much damage. A couple mistakes from Zeni and Zoast, a couple movement mistakes, but overall they're hitting the tricks that they need to hit in order to not die or, you know, lose too much time. So it's going overall decent.
That was an absolutely spectacular attic there from Zeni, using that temporary blue from the speed booster to eliminate the enemies on the left side, unlocking both the doors, and then, you know, why not a speedball entrance into the right side of attic to get that missile tank clipping through the robots. And so when Zeni makes it to bowling, Oates, I believe he goes for something called robot flush.
Yes, so once we get there, you're going to see some shots, angled down shots, some weird jumps. Basically, what that's going to do is it's going to be hitting some robots underneath where those spikes are, and those robots will then go into their proper positions, aka the little holes there, and then they will sink down, allowing the runners to run across the top. If they miss it, they have to shoot the robots like you see Zoast doing now, which is a kind of a significant time loss. So we'll see if both runners can get the robot flush.
And we did see Zoast having to bully that robot into position with the rapid fire missiles, but able to clip in and out of the next two. Very nice recovery there from Zoast. And now Zeni will be heading into bowling, setting up these kind of these off-screen shot kind of shenanigans.
Yep. And if you listen, you can hear the shot hit something. So I'm pretty sure that Zeni did it properly, but only time will tell. We'll be able to tell once we get down there.
It's just crazy to me that something like that could even be discovered and then consistently implemented during runs, whether races or PB attempts. It's really something. But Zoast in the sky here, picking up sky missiles. Going to be heading into bowling himself. So really, Zoast, like, really kind of turn on the afterburners here. Like, despite that difference in route, he is right on Zeni's heels.
Yeah, I feel like that's one scary thing about Zoast, and I've noticed in every single one of his races is even if he doesn't start off perfect, the way he's finishing, or like through his mid game to finishing, is always very, very clean and consistent. So if the other runner isn't on top of their game, Zoast will be catching up. So
it's like a shark in the water. Once he smells blood, he's going for it.
Yeah,
but
sometimes being behind does make it pretty comfortable.
Yeah. So second pickup here, suit pickup for Zeni here. The gravity suit will allow him to move through water with absolutely no hindrance. Plus, it's just a beautiful purple paint job. You gotta love that. But Zoe's gonna be, I didn't even see if Zeni got the robot flush. I just assumed he did. Looks
Zeni
like
did, and Zoast did not.
Zoast
he
got
did hit
50,
the second.
50%.
Yep. It looks like Zeni's not too happy with the way he's playing right now. He is making a couple mistakes, but he should definitely keep his head up. He's playing well. He's extremely well experienced in this category, and definitely can't let mistakes like that get to your head, or else, like I said, Zoast could try to capitalize on that, because he's so experienced when it comes to races, and he knows how it feels to maybe try to make up time or keep a lead. So
For sure. Well, before we head down to the watery depths of Meridia, Zeni will be cleaning out some of Criteria, mostly the landing site, doing a little wraparound shot here to go through the gauntlet, and hopefully getting everybody's favorite trick, the Samus Expert Master.
Yeah, is that what we're calling it? Okay.
It's a name. It's definitely on. I can't lay claim to that one. Shout outs to Seffi for that one. He also conversely called it the Teletubby Huggy, and just a moment of infamy.
So you
commentary with me.
What you saw was Zeni taking off his beams, which is for Meridia, and he took off his suit, which is easier for. Ooh, he's got the setup. It's easier for Mother Brain stand-up glitch. He did get the Teletubby, whatever he calls it, set up here. Ooh,
that's why I like
nice.
Samus Expert Master, and he gets the rest of the spark through to the back of Gauntlet. Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a very difficult. Oh no!
Oh my goodness gracious!
Okay.
Oh, he's gonna want that one back.
That's something to unpack. That's a significant time loss. That's normally the death of your run. He does opt to go for a slightly more difficult. The way he sets that up is very fast and optimal. Unfortunately, it put him slightly too far to the right. So then when he went to do his crumble blocks, his quick drops, it did push him to the right a little too far. Zoast getting the setup as well and gets it. Wow, both runners nailing that is actually insane.
That is absolutely mental. My heart goes out to Zeni. You can see just kind of the look of just disgust on his face as he kind of leaned back in his chair after that. That is a heartbreaking moment to see in this race.
It happens. He should definitely keep his head up, and he can play. He can play for it, and he can get it back for sure. He's experienced enough to do so.
And hey, how about three? How about 3 in one run?
I think he just did that to show off how consistent he is with that, to be honest.
That is crazy. All right. Well, take 2. No sweat. Grabbing both those missile packs here in the back of Gauntlet. I mean, anything could happen in this category.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen to Zoast, but we've seen runners fall down at GT, at Gold Chorizo. Again, I'm not putting that evil on him. I promise.
Yeah, no, there's many things. Soft locks could happen. Golden Chorizo could happen, which is also a significant, probably proportional time loss to what you just saw Zeni have to do. So, like I said, it's unfortunate for Zeni, but he definitely just needs to keep his head up and keep going because he can, with some consistent, clean play, he can really make this time up.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So a little Brinstar cleanup here. We're going to see bottom of green Brinstar here, followed by Waterway. Oats was talking about that earlier. Now they have Speed Booster. They'll be able to get that no problem. But, yeah, I feel like Oats, obviously I've never been in a situation where I'm racing against, Zoast and, commit kind of that normally run ending error like that, but like now he just play free and loose, like just go for it, go for everything that's impossibly hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not too much that's impossibly hard that they don't already go for.
That's an excellent point.
It's very optimized, so yeah, that's tough to say. Like if he can, he'll definitely pull out some harder strats that might be more risky. However, there's not too much. What he just needs to do is play consistent. I don't think anything risky needs to happen or crazy strats, frame savers. I think consistency will make up the time.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. Oats, he's just got to play his game that he knows he's capable of playing. Oh, somebody pointing out in chat happened to Zoast yesterday. It must have been during practice runs. So yeah, it's like nobody's immune to it, Oats. I'm sure you would definitely agree,
Yeah.
Mistakes happen.
Absolutely. That's happened quite a few times. If you run 100%, that's just a rite of passage.
For sure. Really nice Mission Impossible strat there from Zoast, grabbing those Mission Impossible missiles here in Pink Brinstar. Still have the wave missiles, the back of Spore Spawn, and Waterway to do. We'll see if Zeni can get this. Looks like a decent setup. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant there from Zeni.
This is definitely one of the harder sections of the game, but when you nail it, it feels excellent. It's very, very hard to optimize, though. Like you're seeing Zoast do now, there's just certain setups, and that's like I believe some of these setups are pixel perfect, and if you have to reset stuff back up, it's just you're just bleeding time. So both runners are playing it fairly well.
No question, yeah. See, that's what I meant, Oates, by death by 1,000 cuts. It's like in a category that takes at least 62 minutes. I should say 72 minutes. Like it's all you have to optimize so many different rooms that you revisit with different moves.